Good afternoon, class. Today we're going to talk about annotating for deeper meaning. Now, how many of you are familiar with annotation? You've heard the word before. So have you ever been reading and you're reading for maybe 10, 15 minutes and you take a break and you realize that you don't remember anything about what you just read? And you have maybe a discussion about it the next day, or you need to write a reflection on it for homework, but now you realize that you've wasted 15 minutes of reading and you don't know what you even read about. Annotation is where this comes in. It's putting your thoughts about the text on the text while you're reading to prove that you are actively engaging as you read. Why is that even important? I mean, you're reading it. Why should you have to take notes on it as you're reading it if you're just going to write about it later? Yes, Julia.
So I think annotating is important for any sort of reading you do because it really just helps to reinforce everything that you've read and helps you learn the text better and whatever you're learning about.
Awesome. We annotate for two reasons. One, to grasp what we already know about the text. And secondly, to hone in on what we're unsure of. So now that we know what it is and why we do it, now we're going to move on to how to annotate. And annotating, because it is for you, for each specific reader, it can look different for different people. But here are just a few guidelines to help you annotate as you read. So as you read, you should circle any unfamiliar words you come across. Write down any connections that you have in the margins. And these connections can be connections to other parts of the book, connections to your own life, or connections to other things that you've read. Star any important or interesting passages, and as you star them, or you can underline them as well, write in the margin what you like about it so that you can remember it when you come back to the book. And lastly, put any questions that you have about the text, put question marks beside confusing passages. So now that we've learned what annotating is, why we do it, and how to do it, now we're going to actually apply those principles to this short poem called Filthy McNasty from the book The Crossover. It's a very good book. I highly recommend it. It's really fun. So I'll read and we'll annotate as we go along. Filthy McNasty is a mythical man-child of rather dubious distinction. And right here, 2 lines in, I see something that we can annotate. Like I said previously, we circle words that we don't know. So dubious, I don't really know what that means. So I'm going to circle dubious, and then maybe put a little question mark beside that line, just to make sure that I remember why I circled dubious. Okay. Always agitating, combinating, and elevating his game. Jimmy, what do you notice about these 3 lines?
And the words get bigger.
Yeah, the words get bigger, so let's write that on. So I've got a song for you guys to help you remember what we've learned today. You ready?
Yeah!
And but then it goes, I got a book in my hand and some thoughts in my brain, but every time I read I feel them flying away. I've got questions and connections in sight, yeah I'm bright, but when I go to bed they won't last through the night. But I've got an idea, yeah I know what to do. I take a pen in my hand and I look real cool as I read. I slow it down a bit, I take the time to comprehend it. If there's a word I don't know, then I circle it. If there's a passage I like, give it a star. If there's a connection I make, shoot an arrow. And that's how I put my thoughts on the page.
Thanks,
Yay.
Professor Toussaint.
Thank you, students.